Hello, dear viewer. I have some bad news. And I hate to start a video off this way, but the truth is, I have some bad news. This is going to be bad news for many of you. And the bad news is, you've been lied to. In fact, you are currently being lied to. Not by me, but you're being lied to by internet marketer after internet marketer who is all telling you the same big, fat lie. And worse than being a lie, it's actually going to actively hurt you if you listen to it. So I don't know what you call that. It's not a little white lie. It's a lie that could set you back thousands and thousands of dollars, and it could cost you months and months of your time. So what is the lie? The lie is the big lie that you've been told that if you want to make money online, you need to learn a new skill. Have you heard that before? Have you heard that one before? All you got to do is learn a valuable skill. Learn this new thing and then go market and sell that new thing. Which for most people, sales and marketing are also new skills. So you're now learning three new things, but I digress. And these unscrupulous internet marketers would be thrilled to charge you, to teach you this new thing, this new skill. And here are some examples of what I mean, in case you aren't following along, but you probably already have an idea of where I'm going with this. If you've been thinking about building your own business online, you've seen one or more of these. So let's look at some examples of what I'm talking about. SEO. SEO. Yeah. You're going to learn SEO and then you're going to go build an SEO agency. Or you're going to learn Amazon KDP. You're gonna be a Kindle Direct publisher or drop shipping. Drop shipping is my favorite. I've been an online entrepreneur for like 3 years now, full time, and I still barely know what drop shipping is. Or vending machines. Just go buy a bunch of vending machines, buddy. Go buy a bunch of vending machines and set them up in office buildings. Couldn't be any easier than that. They try to get you to do faceless YouTube channels, faceless TikTok channels. I see people telling you that you should go buy a boring business, a Main Street blue collar business. Just go buy one. Just go do that. Even though you've never worked in that industry a day in your life, forget about that part. But just go buy the business and run it and be profitable and make $1 million. Simple as pie. So why is all of this a problem? This crowded marketplace of absurd things that they're going to tell you you're going to learn these new skills. It's a problem because if you buy into one of these schemes, then what you're doing is you are learning a brand new skill in a completely unfamiliar industry. So what happens when you do plop down a few grand for an Amazon KDP course and you're thinking, this is it. This is fun. I'm going to be a publishing titan. I'm going to be rich. I'm just going to crap out some ebooks and I'm going to learn to run Amazon ads because how hard can that possibly be? And then real quick, boom, presto, passive income. Yeah, sure. Sure, man. Good luck with that. So let's say in the best case scenario, we'll use our KDP example. In the best case scenario, you actually manage to make it through that course that you bought and you actually get something posted up on Amazon. Well, all of a sudden, you are now competing with everyone else trying to run the same hustle as you are, except they've been doing it for years and you just started. You're brand new. You have zero, and I mean zero, competitive advantage. In fact, you have a negative competitive advantage. These guys that have been doing this scheme, my hair's a problem today. Hey, you know what? You get what you get. This is raw and filtered information for you. You're competing with these guys who have been doing this for years, and they are going to wipe the floor with you simply because they've been doing it longer and they've done it tons more times than you. Same thing with the vending machines. You're going to buy a bunch of vending machines. You have no competitive advantage there. Same thing with SEO. People have spent their entire life mastering SEO. I'd love to see somebody just come along as an upstart and completely beat those guys. It's not going to happen. You have no competitive advantage. Same with, hey, go buy this this HVAC company in a town that's 30 miles away from you and manage this team of blue collar guys, even though you've never stepped your loafers out of your cozy 9-to-5 office. You have no competitive advantage in any of these anywhere. So most people that get sucked into these for that reason, they just wind up quitting. But that's only after they've spent thousands of dollars. Like we had a guy join the incubator recently who was coming off of his own attempt at KDP, which is, I said it already, but it's Kindle Direct Publishing. So you put an ebook, you run ads to it, and you're rich forever, supposedly. And this guy was like $11,000 in the hole when he met me. He had spent a few grand on the course, and the rest was he had spent on ads, and all he had to show for it was a couple $1,000s in sales. But here's the harsh, yet hopefully beautiful for you and promising for you truth. You don't have to learn some new skill. in which you have zero competitive advantage in order to have a six-figure online business. In fact, the odds are good that you already have a six-figure skill and you're already doing it every single day. How can this be possible? Well, look no further than your 9-to-5 job. You already have a six-figure skill that your company already pays you to do, or else they wouldn't pay your salary. And you just haven't learned how to package that skill and sell it to the right buyer. And that's what this little short training is about, how to find that six-figure skill that's been hiding in your 9-to-5 all along. Because guess what? You've been at your 9-to-5 for years, probably, right? So you by default do have a competitive advantage at whatever it is that you do there. You are by default better at it than the average person. So no more learning new skills that you've never even attempted before, just so that you can go out into the marketplace and get smoked by people who've been doing it for a decade plus. Now you're the guy who's been doing it for a decade plus, which, by the way, I have a school group that's totally free and has hours and hours of free trainings on how to do exactly what we're talking about here, plus weekly calls with me, DMs with me, and 2,100 other guys on there doing this thing. Click the link in the description. It's just right down there. You just go click it and you can hop right in. So how do you do this? How do you find your hidden six-figure skill? Well, here is what actually works. And I'll start by saying what you don't need. What you don't need in order to do this. So you don't need a massive audience. You don't need a perfect, impeccable website. You don't need a bunch of certifications hanging on your wall. You don't need a logo. All you need is three things. First, you need a skill that solves a real problem for either people or businesses. Second, you need a market that has that problem and, this is important, and has the ability to pay to solve that problem. And number three, you need a simple way to offer your help, either through consulting or coaching or done-for-you services, to get that problem solved. And most of the time, when you're at a corporate 9-to-5, whether you're in HR, tech, sales, marketing, administration, operations, C-suite, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing, you are already solving problems every single day. You've just never thought of yourself as the product, but you can be. You can be the product. And that's how people just like you, with skills that aren't even as good as yours, are getting paid thousands of dollars in their own businesses to do what your company pays you to do now. So how do you uncover this skill? That's what we're going to talk about next. And you do it with something I call the mirror. And I call it the mirror because it's going to require you to reflect. You see what I did there? You're going to use the mirror and you're going to reflect. And what you're going to do is you're going to get out a pen and a paper and you're going to answer these questions. So what do people at work come to you for help with? Just write anything that comes to mind. Whatever comes to mind, there's nothing off limits. Write it all down. What do you get complimented on that you'll usually just brush off and you don't think twice about? But what are people saying? Yeah, well, you're really good at blank. What is that? And then the third question is, what's something that you can do in 30 minutes that usually takes other people hours and hours and hours? Just write it down. Think about it and write it down. What's a part of your job that feels natural to you, but is difficult for others? What are some tasks that other people avoid that you actually kind of enjoy? And finally, last but the most important one, how does your company actually make money off of you? How does your company make money from you and from your work? You got those down. Think about it. You can pause the video and come back. But once you got those down, great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it. So the next questions we ask is, who else might need this kind of help? Who would pay for the things that you listed over here in this section? Who needs this? Who would pay for that? Answer these questions as honestly and as thoroughly as you possibly can. Put some real thought into it. You can use ChatGPT or some other LLM to help you with this exercise. But here are a few real examples from some of our current incubator members to give you some concrete ideas. So we have, and these are AI pictures. I don't put pictures of my guys in the slides. All right. So we like to keep it a little bit anonymous, unless they really want to be public about it. So these are clearly, this is not what Tim or Lucas or Matt or Bruce looks like. No, that's disclaimer. But we have Tim, who's in the incubator, and what he does, what has done for years at his job, is that he's a really great sales communicator on things that require longer sales cycles. And other business owners need guys who can communicate in that way. So what he's doing is he goes and creates an active presence in creator-led business communities to supplement the teachings and communicate the teachings as a participant in that creators community. We have Lucas, who is a cybersecurity expert. This one's pretty self-explanatory. He knows how to protect vulnerable companies' information, so that's what he sells company to company. We have Matt, who is a partner at a big law firm, and he's really good at building a book of clients. Clearly, lots of other lawyers struggle with that skill, so he teaches them how to do it. Not on the slides, but we have John. Why does it do this? Look, it gives you this little thing. I don't want this to show up. Veed.io. Get this out of here. We have John. Look, it's doing it again. Go. Be gone. I have to do it like that. All right, John, who's in procurement, which basically means he buys the stuff that makes up a company's COGS, cost of goods sold, at scale. Well, this is something that other companies need desperately. And it's a hard job to do, but he's good at it, so he does it for those companies. We have Steven, also not listed with an AI avatar, fake avatar picture, but Steven has a finance background, so he helps companies manage cash flow. You get the idea. And it doesn't even have to be a skill from your 9 to 5. That's not a requirement by any means. Like we have Bruce, who is an expert at self-defense and at martial arts. So what he's teaching is vulnerable, high net worth people how to handle themselves when crap hits the fan. So the list goes on and on. If you're a great writer, you can offer writing services that increase revenue for companies. If you're great at sales, you can help companies close more deals. If you're great at operations, you can streamline small businesses' operations. If you're really creative, then you can create creative advertisements that convert into more money for other businesses. And hopefully this paints a picture of what's possible out there. So now how do we take what we learned from this mirror exercise and turn it into a proposition for another person or another business? Here's how you're going to reframe your skill that you've discovered. You're going to reframe it for the market. And we start with this simple formula, which is in tiny font down here. Simple formula. I help blank type of person do blank specific outcome without blank pain or problem. I help blank type of person do blank specific outcome without blank pain or problem. So we can apply that to some of our examples from a minute ago. So I help big law associates learn how to bring clients to their firm without sacrificing their billable hours that are so important to them. Or I help medical companies keep their patient and customer data secure without investing in a brand new infrastructure. I help high-earning professionals learn how to defend themselves when they're out with their families without spending years and years in the gym. I help companies streamline their ordering to save hundreds of thousands of dollars per year without hiring a full-time team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea by now, I think you do, because I know you're smart. You know how to extrapolate and apply abstract concepts into your own set of personal facts. So good job. You get it. All we're doing here is we're repositioning your skill around a buyer. We're repositioning your skill around somebody who needs this thing. And just as importantly, somebody who has the ability to pay for those things. So if you can do that, if you can position your skill around a buyer with the means to pay for it, you have a business. Full stop, end of story. So what now? Now that you know how to identify your unique skill and you've been enlightened to the fact that you don't have to go out and buy 30 vending machines in order to have a side business, the next step for you is to join our free school group. The link is right in the description, as I've already said. So say when you join it, tell me you came from YouTube on the intake form so I know, and thank you for watching, and I will see you inside.